Hello everyone, it's Sandy Peckinpah here joining you live on this Thursday. We have a great topic today. Shavana, yay. I'm so glad you're here. Megan, welcome. Megan McIntosh, welcome. I'm so glad you're joining because I think this is an interesting topic. We've heard a lot about this topic. Cynthia's here. Yay. Good, Cynthia. Cynthia, this is going to be a good one for you too. Cynthia is also a writer. Shavana has just published her book. Oh, here, hold on. I have to get the book so that you can see it. Shavana's book, The Emerging Healer. Yes, I am so proud of Shavana. It is out now. Shavana is one of my mastermind students. For those of you who don't know me, I'm an author. I've written 4 books. Yes, it is your baby, Shavana. I've written 4 books, but I've also assisted many others in helping them get their books written. And Shavana is one of my mastermind students who has a book. I am so proud of her. The Emerging Healer by Shavana Gaylor. Check it out on Amazon. Isn't she wonderful? Well, this is a great topic for all of us who are in business. Now, wow, is that broad? It's also for all of us who have a desire to live our lives to the fullest potential. Everybody's in business. Everybody has to make a living. And if you're retired, you're still making a living. If you're out of a job, you're trying to find a job. Or if you're an entrepreneur starting a new business, this is for you. If you've ever had a desire to use your story in a way that you want to share a message to the world, this broadcast is for you. Now, we had a lot of new people join us yesterday, and I'm so glad that we got a lot of new followers. So if you think this might be of benefit to you, please consider following me, Sandy Peckinpah. Hit the little Perry guy down there and hit the follow button, and I would be so grateful. Also, if you think that this discussion on niche, and I'm going to give you a whole new twist on it, if you think that this might benefit someone that you know, please feel free to share. So, Yasser, welcome. So we are bonjour. In fact, I'm going to be using a French word today in our broadcast because, wow, I'm so excited to share this with you. So I call this broadcast Defining a Niche? No, this is so much better because I don't know about you, but I keep hearing people tell me, find your niche, find your niche, find your niche. Now, I don't think I've ever said that to any of the people that I have coached. I hope not, because I find the niche as confining as a nest, which is where, oh, look who's here, Debbie Hartley. Welcome, Hartleah. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here today, Debbie. So I was just talking about how the word niche has become so overused and so abrasive to me because it is not about finding a niche. The word niche is defined, and this is from the dictionary, is defined as a comfortable or suitable position in life or employment. Does that sound very exciting to you? A comfortable position in life or employment? Island Vladimir, welcome. Well, the word actually comes from a French word, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, niche, and those of you who speak French can correct me, although I can't hear your pronunciation, but you can tell me if that's okay. I took French in high school, and I also spent 6 weeks in the Congo in Africa, and their learned language is French because they were originally part of the Belgian Congo. And now, of course, they're just the Congo, and actually now it's something different. But the French word niche means to make a nest. Now, what is a nest? A nest is confining. And again, we go back to the Webster Dictionary definition. It's a comfortable or suitable position in life or in employment. Christy, I got to talk to Christy in person today. Judy, welcome. Tamsin, welcome. Tamsin, this is Tamsin's book. I'm sharing books today. Tamsin's book, Easy as PB&J. It's Share What You Know, Make Money Doing It, Tamsin and Chris Horton. I am so excited for Tamsin. And then this one, if you didn't see it earlier, The Emerging Healer. I am so proud of my coaching client, Shavana Gaylor, who is now a published author and presenting her book next week. So it's available now on Amazon. So we're talking about the niche factor and how tired we are of hearing it, because life isn't about niching, folks. It's not about a niche. And as I defined a niche, a comfortable or suitable position in life or employment, from the dictionary, boring. Absolutely boring. What the word literally comes from is the French word niche, and it means to make a nest. But what do birds want to do? Birds want to fly from the nest. We had a little block party there. I hope it worked. Let me see. Yeah. Birds want to fly from the nest. Isn't it confining? Don't you want to see if there's something more? Oh, good. Aunt Fry is here and she knows her French. Don't you want to see if there's something more? Yes. Birds are anxious to fly out of the nest. And if the word niche comes from niche, nest, then isn't it time that you fly from the nest and get rid of the niche and see the big wide world of possibility? Guess what? You don't have to niche to realize your full potential, because life isn't about small niches. It's about expansion. It's so frustrating for those of us who have spent the last 2 years, because that's when the word became popular for entrepreneurs, for businesses, mousse, la mousse. And what happened is that people started thinking, oh, I don't know what my one thing is. I'm having trouble finding out my one thing. And then people get hung up on that one thing and they feel like a failure. When we're scrambling to figure out our life's purpose, we can get bogged down thinking it's just one thing. Majoring in the minors, 8 Fry says. Love knowing the word origin aspect. Oh, good, Tamsin. I'm so glad. When we're scrambling to find out our life's purpose, we can tend to get bogged down thinking it's just one thing. Judy says, I could never limit my writing to a niche. Me either. My first 2 books were fiction, fairy tales. My next book was a nonfiction book, and my last book is a nonfiction based on my own story of loss. And it's a desire to help other parents. Boy, I'm as niched out as it gets. And then my next book has all of my life experiences and theories that I share here on the broadcast. Hi, Ayad. Welcome. Oh, good. You couldn't either and had a really hard time. Okay, good. Because you have a very big life, Tamsin. You have so many areas in your life of expansion. You're a perfect example of a person who doesn't fit in a niche, a nest. A nest is where people desire to leave because they are flying from the nest. Birds fly from the nest to expand the world. And that's what a full potential is. So we can tend to get bogged down on one thing, but life isn't about one thing. It's about the overall story of you. And that's what my next book is about. You have many things, many interests, many things that you love, but you can always bring it back to your comfortable areas of expertise where you know you're better than anybody else at doing this one thing or a couple of things. You don't have to niche it down. Niching can cause boredom. 8 Fry says, once you leave your comfort zone, you'll see it wasn't very comfortable because your heart desired to fly. Taurinus, welcome. Your heart desired to fly. Thomas, welcome. Thomas 64, welcome. We're talking about the boredom of being caught in a niche. Flying and coming home to our nest. It's a great place to visit, isn't it? But we still want to see the world. We're here to expand, 8 Fry says. Yes, it's absolutely true. So you are the sum total of life, and every topic in your life has many components to it. You know, Tamsin is an attorney, and she's used her abilities and her talents as an attorney to create another business in her life. Michael, welcome. And this book is a result of it, Easy as PB&J. It was, what is it? What, Tamsin, maybe you could type in your type of law. It's on the tip of my tongue. Trademark. Isn't it trademark law? Tamsin, throw up an emoji and say what it was. And she was probably fantastic at it. I was never a title. A cute title. I just read your thing. I was not a client of hers, but I became a big fan of hers. Branding and business. Okay, that was her expertise. And she turned it into an online business and a book, which is a great calling card for anyone in business. But I'm telling you, when you start niching it down, it tends to get boring and confining because life isn't about a niche. Life is about flying that nest because the word niche comes from nest, the French word nest. I have a better word for you and I can't wait to share it with you. So hang in there with me. We're going through this. Adam, welcome, and Nikon, welcome. Okay, let's talk about this. For example, I love writing. That's my passion. I am an author. I've written 4 books and I wrote many scripts with my husband for television and film. Oh my gosh. He had over 20 television movies. He had, I can't even count the number of television series that he did. And then with that, every episode that he wrote, a lot. And I'm very proud of the work that I did with my husband. We were a team. Now, it wasn't until 1989 that I wrote my very first book. I broke out of my niche of being my husband's editor and thinking that my only possibility in life was to be his editor and creative inspirer. And I helped him develop characters. Yes, I agree, Christy. Just ignore them. They'll go away when they get bored. And so what you want to learn English? Well, I don't teach English, but I know there are other people on Periscope who do. So in learning that my passion was writing, but it wasn't necessarily confined to being his assistant, is that I decided to break out on my own and write my own book. Is that a Degas print? You know what? I'm really proud of that. That was taken in the south of France. My husband took that photograph. It is stunning, isn't it? I love it. We were there last year and wow, we got some fabulous photos. They're all over my house. So when I decided to break away from my husband's work and do something on my own, I didn't completely break away because I still loved participating in writing scripts and movies with him. But I decided to start writing my own book. Well, it broke open that niche theory. I was not confined to one thing. And then it inspired me to continue writing on my own. I found my wings when I broke out of my niche, my nest, niche. Exactly. So in talking about it, life isn't a niche. but it's an expansion, breaking out of the nest. But you know what? It all revolves around something that is my passion, which is writing. And if you make a list in your life and you go back to your life, your timeline, and this is a technique that Niche, Nicher, Adam. If you make a list of, for instance, I can make a list of things that I can talk about as a writer in like no time. And I made a quick list just before this broadcast. I can talk as a writer with you about the writer's mindset. I can talk about story arcs. Story arcs is something that I learned from my husband, because in every television series, not only is there a complete series story arc, but every episode has a story arc also. And that's an important part of developing story. Now, for those of you who don't know my late husband's work, he did a television series called Sliders. It was a sci-fi series on the network. It lasted, I think 7 years or something. We also did a series that I'm really proud of called Beauty and the Beast, and we were nominated for an Emmy for that. And then we did a series called Wolf, which was opposite Roseanne. It didn't last a full season because Roseanne beat it out, but it was a great story based on an Italian family. And we had to do our research, and that expanded our horizons to really understand different cultures and people. We had to develop characters for that story. One of his most famous films is Man of the House with Chevy Chase and Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Farrah Fawcett. And actually the lead, Farrah, has my name in the movie. He named her after me. And so all of these stories I'm really proud of because I assisted him in helping him create story arcs for each show. What is a story arc? You know what? That's a whole conversation, but I teach about it in my mastermind class about getting the story arc right, because every story needs an arc in order. Yes, actually, related to Sam, yes, my late husband, Sam was his uncle. Sam got us started in the film business, and we worked a lot with Sam on a project, and we had a great experience with Sam. And Sam introduced us to the entertainment business. It's because of Sam I got to meet Ringo Starr. As a child growing up, I always wanted to meet the Beatles and Bob Dylan and Chris Christopherson and Steve McQueen and Ally McGraw. I mean, it was a glorious life. But it was also breaking out of our niche that helped us meet those people, because we were living in Monterey, and David had a desire to write a book. And while he was writing a book, we decided that let's break it out. Let's start writing scripts, because all of these people that we were meeting through Sam were doing something that was their heart's desire and making great money at it. So that's how we broke out of our nest, our niche, thinking that we only had one avenue to go, and that was to write books. But it changed for us. And I'm so glad it did, because we had a great life in the film business. My husband passed away in 2006, but he left quite a legacy in writing and on film, and I'm really, really proud of him. So for writing, in breaking out of your niche, you can talk about something that you're passionate about and things that you love, but you can talk about it in many different ways. For instance, if I want to talk about writing to you, I don't just get on this broadcast and talk about sitting in the chair and writing, which is critical, but I can talk about the writer's mindset. I can talk about story arcs. I can talk about getting inspired, finding your voice, having a message, creating a vision, how to get noticed for your work, your life's purpose. If it's writing, what is it about writing that can develop into living a full life? I can talk about talk show prep because of My first book, I was on every talk show you can imagine. And I am so grateful that I had that opportunity to really figure out how to be on a talk show. That's all part of writing. Another is that I could take years of work and learn how to compile it into a book. And that's what I'm doing now. I could talk about writing biographies, because you always have to have lots of different oh, I'm so sorry your husband died. It's a tough thing. I can talk about getting an audience on social media, and I can talk about marketing, salespeople. I mean, the list goes on. You see, in a niche, when you try to niche it down, this is what I'm saying. There's so much more than a niche. My husband was known for drama in television, but he always longed to write comedy. And what he did instead was incorporate humor into his drama. And so his underlying theme always had some comedy in it. And he believed in every drama, there's the moment where humor can break the tension. Yes, you can talk about how you can't get motivated. You know, that's one of the things that I help my mastermind students with, is motivation. Because sometimes the hardest thing in the world is to get motivated when you're a writer. That's the hardest thing in the world. But I can teach you all of that because I'm passionate about that, because I didn't stay in the niche of just writing. So, what do you love to talk about? What do you love to write about? What, if you could choose any job, what would it be? And are they the same? Are those passions the same? Actually, you can you see some of those questions in Tamsin's book. If you take a piece of paper and you write about something that you write down, something that you're really good at, think of surrounding that topic with all of the branches of it. All of the branches of that topic. And when you start doing that, you are building the groundwork and able to, if you're building a structure for your full life. It's like, I love Tamsin always uses the word Legos. It's the building blocks. Your niche doesn't stay small. You can keep adding on to it. Here's the word that I discovered that I prefer than to niche. And it's also French, but it is used in the English language, and I'll tell you how it's used. The word is métier, and it's spelled, here, I wrote it out for you. That's the word, métier. And in this country, the word is used like this. I love all writing, but inspirational memoir is my true métier. Now, it's a French word, but guess what it incorporates? And this is so juicy. It's defined as, yes, métier, métier, métier. It's defined as an outstanding or advantageous characteristic. The French word, it's used to denote strengths and things you're good at. It comes from the Latin word meaning service. Now, métier, how great is that? I'm going to say it again. It means an outstanding or advantageous characteristic. It's used to denote strengths and things you're good at. It comes from the Latin word service. And it's used like this. I love all writing, but inspirational memoir is my true métier. Now, Isn't that what we all want to be, is of service, to live a full life, to feel fulfilled as though we've fulfilled it? Not in a niche, but by expanding. We want our work to mean something. And to do it, it means that it needs to expand and be out there for others. Oh, I love all those emojis. Thank you, Tamsin. It's about fulfilling our potential. When we are of service, we are living our lives to the fullest. You have many things that interest you and many things that you love, and they are all the building blocks of your life. You can always tie it back to your métier, your outstanding and advantageous characteristic. And I'm going to talk more about that on Monday, because we're going to continue this conversation. Oh, Bonnie, I'm so glad you're here. I just went through we're going to end this conversation pretty quickly, but I hope you have a chance to go back and watch it, because we talked about a lot, but I'm excited for you to understand this premise. I am so proud of this premise, because suddenly it all made sense to me. It all made sense that life isn't a niche at all. It's about expanding your life to its fullest potential, but you can still bring it back to the basic building blocks of who you are. And as the word métier says, the new word for niche, it means you are outstanding and have an advantageous characteristic. You are of service. Thank you for inviting followers. I am so grateful. Julie, welcome. Yep, it's all about passion. We are meant to stay still. We'd have roots and not feet. Love that. Bonnie sitting here with Kip. Aww. They have 2 kids. Tamsin does. Yeah. So I hope that this means something to you. I hope that you are outstanding at living your life to its fullest potential. When we're of service, nothing feels better. Nothing feels better. You may have many things of interest, and they all wrap around each other. We're going to continue this conversation next week. And if you have ever said, someday I want to, and it's never happened, then it's time to take the very next step. Someday is now. Someday is now. So if you want to consider joining my Emerging Writer Mastermind, please consider it. If you've ever said, someday I want to write a book, the Mastermind is starting up later in November. If you want to take a screenshot of it, it's bit.ly/Emerging Writer Mastermind. And you can go to that page and see what we're all about. As I said, my mastermind students now have books like this one, The Emerging Healer, that just came out last week. Shavana Gaylor, I am so proud of her. She is one of my coaching students. She started with me in April, and today she has a published book. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Oh, 8 Fry said something that I always say. Someday also means procrastination. It's true. It's true. So today, nothing better than your thoughts shared with the world. Isn't that the best, Chris? I know. Congratulations on your book. I am so impressed, and I'm going to be writing a review. I said I got it, and I'm really excited. I read it. I love it. I'm going to be writing a review. And that's my broadcast for today. So I hope that you will join me on Monday, because I'm going to continue this conversation about our métier, and I'm going to be giving you some more options to start thinking about. Okay? All right. Oh, fantastic. Hear that? He's got his next book almost done, and Shavana is going to be having her next book done soon too. And Christy is starting with me. Christy is going to be having her book soon. Isn't it wonderful when we get to share a message? All right. Bye, Debbie. Bye. Thank you so much for joining me.